Hi, I'm Sam from Voice of the Spartan, and it is May 16th, 2016, here at Dodd Middle School in Cheshire, Connecticut. Today I will be discussing what it takes to become an Olympic gymnast with John Geddert, a 2011 USA World Team Head Coach, 2012 USA Olympic Team Head Coach, and Jordan Weber's head coach. He has been coaching for about 34 years and is still coaching gymnastics at Twist Stars USA. Gymnastics is one of the toughest sports, and it takes a lot of perseverance, strength, and overcoming your fears. To be an Olympian, you have to be the best of the best and be able to do the most complex skills and routines. In gymnastics, your mind will sometimes stop, and it will be hard for you to even believe that you can do a big skill. All you have to do is try and get over your fears and get better and better to even think of being an Olympian. Recently, I was able to get more feedback about what it takes to be an Olympic gymnast from John Geddert, the 2012 USA Olympic Team Head Coach. Here now is our conversation. So to start off, in your experience, how has gymnastics evolved through the years?
Well, I've been involved for going on 40 years now, so the equipment in the sport has progressed to allow for more difficulty. Mm-hmm. The training of the athletes has progressed, so they're more physically able to handle more difficulty. So I guess the biggest change is the level of difficulty across the board. Mm-hmm. What was once Olympic, in the 60s, what people were doing in the Olympics, now they're doing at a very beginner level, and it's really progressed a long way.
If you are a good, young gymnast, where would the next step be if someone saw you had potential to be an Olympian?
Potential to be an Olympian is that's kind of an overused statement. But if you feel like they have talent and they have the desire, they have the parent backing, the next step would be to find an organization that is not only willing to help you achieve your ultimate goals, but has the capabilities of doing it. There are a lot of gymnastics clubs, but not a whole lot of them that are capable of training world-class athletes. So I would just do your homework, check around, see who has the best reputation, who has the best facility, who has the best philosophy for training, and pursue great training.
How much time does an Olympian gymnast train?
Yeah, well, starting at a pretty early age, they're probably going to be anywhere from 18 to 25 hours as they're progressing to that world-class level. And then once they get there, they're probably going to be in excess of 30 hours a week once they get to the elite level, the top of the profession. They're going to be, we were with Jordan Weber, who was an Olympian in 2012. Mm-hmm. She was training around 32 hours. There are times that train as much as 40 hours a week.
Wow. So what level should a young gymnast be on to possibly be on the Olympics? How young should they start?
Well, that's going to be based on not only their personal drive and motivation, but that's going to also be based on the productivity and the efficiency of their club. If their club is getting good results, some clubs take longer than others. But generally speaking, they're going to want to be at the elite level. And by the time they're 14, getting their feet wet, getting used to that level of training, that level of difficulty, you have to be at least 16 years old in the calendar year to be eligible for the Olympics. So you'd want to be at least at the elite level by the time you're 13 or 14.
Oh, okay. When a gymnast says they can't do a skill or it's too hard, what would you say to them to make them know that they can?
Well, that's part of individual coaching philosophies also. But anytime we have athletes that are hesitant or even fearful of doing a skill, we want to make sure we follow the right progressions, make sure that they feel comfortable in an easier progression. For instance, if they're fearful on the balance beam, maybe we do a little bit more work on a low beam until they gain the confidence. If they don't have confidence, there's really not a whole lot we can do. Yes, we can encourage them. Yes, we can, but they have to believe it themselves. So the art of coaching is getting the athlete to believe in themselves. So you do that with slow, patient, progressive development.
What is an Olympic attitude? Like, more specifically, how should gymnasts have a good character in the gym and, like, with their gym friends, coaches, and even gymnasts they're competing with?
Well, one of the things that I think separates Olympic caliber world-class athletes from other athletes, there are lots of athletes with world-class talent. There's just not very many that are willing to use it on a daily basis. So what separates the best of the best is their willingness on a day in, day out to maximize their potential. They come to the gym, they still have fun, they still enjoy the process, but they're there to get everything they can out of a training session. They're the ones that look their coaches in the eye and respond to the corrections and do what their coaches say. They're the ones that give max effort when nobody's looking. That's kind of a definition of integrity. Doing what's right when nobody's watching you. And and that applies to in and out of the gym. Great athletes, take care of themselves out of the gym. They eat well, they rest right, they manage their time. So I think that's what separates the best.
So people say that you should be short and to be a really good gymnast. Have you found this to be true, or have you seen any tall gymnasts that were just as good or better?
Well, I guess tall is a relative term. If you're going to be 6 foot tall, you're probably not maybe not cut out for world-class gymnastics. You still do gymnastics at a pretty good level because of pure physics of the sport. And taller athletes have a little bit of a disadvantage. Now, depending on a 5'5" and 5'6", that's certainly they can still do pretty good gymnastics. So if you look at Simone Biles at 4'10", then everybody's going to start basing their opinion on that. But I don't believe you have to be. Jordan was 5'3".
And finally, in your opinion, how much of a commitment is gymnastics for the person that desires to be an Olympic athlete?
Well, any sport, and I don't care if it's soccer or softball or hockey. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If you're desiring to be one of the best in the world, then you have to be willing to work harder than they do. So that takes total commitment. When you get to that level, obviously life balance is important. You have to enjoy other things in life, otherwise the sport becomes too much of a struggle. But you have to be totally committed. And, when you're working 32 hours a week, up to 40 hours a week, plus going to school, that's more than a full-time job. And you go to school for 6 hours and you work out for 5 hours a day. That's a long day. So that's total commitment right there.
As you have heard during this podcast, becoming an Olympian takes true talent and commitment. Gymnastics is not an easy sport, and you must have the right attitude. Geddert mentioned this comment: max effort when nobody's looking. That's kind of the definition of integrity. Doing what is right when no one is watching you. And that applies to in and out of the gym. Not only do you have to have the right skills, but you also need a good character for everyone and everything around you. And as he said, not just in the gym, but outside of the gym, having a good diet, resting right, and managing your time. Don't forget to enjoy the sport, but still be able to concentrate on the task at hand. Thank you again, Coach John Geddert, for speaking with me, and if you want to know what it takes to be an Olympic gymnast, then you should consider the things that Coach Geddert said. I'm Sam, and you have been listening to Voice of the Spartan.